Stop. Stop asking when it's going to happen. It already happened in the Spirit. You have been standing at a door, praying for it to open, crying at the threshold, begging for movement. And what heaven needs you to understand today, right now, in this exact moment, is that the door is not locked. The door was never locked. The door has been open. You just haven't walked through it yet because your mind is still living in the season your spirit already left behind. This is not encouragement. This is not a pep talk. This is a word. And if you found this video today, it did not happen by accident. There is no algorithm strong enough to explain why certain words find certain people at certain moments. What brought you here is the same thing that has been carrying you through every silent night, every unanswered prayer. Every morning you woke up tired before the day even started. You were brought here because heaven has something to say to you directly. So I need you to stay. I need you to listen. I need you. Not with the part of you that is exhausted and skeptical and waiting for disappointment. I need you to listen with the part of you that still believes, the part that hasn't given up no matter how many times it had reason to. That part of you is still alive. And that part of you already knows what I'm about to say is true. Your breakthrough is not coming, it is here. Not approaching, not on the way, not pending confirmation from some distant corner of heaven. Here, present, active. Moving beneath the surface of your life right now like roots breaking concrete from below. You can't see it yet, but the ground is already shifting. If this word is already touching something inside you, do me a favor right now, like this video and subscribe to this channel. There are chosen ones just like you who need to find this message, and your support is what makes that possible. Like and subscribe right now, and let's keep going. Let me describe you for a moment, not because I want to impress you with how much I know, but because you need to feel seen by something other than your own mirror. You are tired, but not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. You are tired in a way that lives underneath your smile. You have learned to function while carrying weight that would have broken other people long ago. You go through your day, you answer your messages, you show up for others, you keep your responsibilities, and nobody around you has any idea what is happening inside you. Nobody knows about the prayers you whisper in the dark. Nobody knows about the moments you sit in silence and ask God if He still remembers your name. Nobody knows how many times you have almost let go but didn't. You are still here. That is not small. That is everything. You have survived financial pressure that made you question your own intelligence, your own worth, your own decisions. You have sat with numbers that didn't add up and tried to keep faith in a God who promises abundance while the account says otherwise. You have smiled at people who have no idea you are one unexpected bill away from a breakdown. You have survived family wounds that nobody gave you a manual for, disappointments from people who were supposed to be safe, silence from people who should have spoken up for you, absence from people whose presence you needed to become who you were called to be. And you had to build yourself anyway. You had to learn life while bleeding from wounds nobody could see. You have survived loneliness so deep, it stopped feeling like an emotion and started feeling like a permanent address, the kind of loneliness that exists even in a room full of people, the kind that makes you wonder if you are built differently from everyone else, if your soul operates on a frequency that most people simply cannot receive. You have survived rejection, not just from people, but from opportunities, from doors that seemed anointed, that seemed right, that seemed like they were finally your moment, and then they closed, and you had to stand in front of another closed door and decide whether to keep believing or to finally accept that maybe you were wrong about what God promised you. And here is what moves me about you. You kept going, not perfectly, not without fear, not without tears and anger, and long conversations with God that sounded more like arguments than prayers, but you kept going, you kept showing up. You kept believing, even when believing felt like the most irrational choice available to you. That is not weakness. That is the mark of someone who was made for something significant. Do not miss this part. The people who are chosen for extraordinary things are almost always the ones who had to endure extraordinary preparation. Not because God is cruel, not because suffering is the point, but because what is being built inside you requires a foundation that comfort could never produce. The depth of your calling required the depth of your process, and I know that doesn't make the pain disappear. I know it doesn't immediately heal the years of pressure and loss and silence. but it means the years were not wasted. It means every single moment of that journey was accumulating into something. And that something is now. Listen carefully. This is where everything changes. The waiting season is over. Not ending. Not winding down. Not transitioning slowly into something new while you hold your breath and hope. Over. Finished. Closed behind you. You have been standing in a room looking at a door marked when. When will it happen? When will things change? When will God move? When will my life finally look like what I was promised? And what heaven is declaring over you today is that you are no longer in that room. You have already walked out. Your spirit crossed the threshold. Your assignment shifted. The season changed, and your mind is still catching up to what your spirit already knows. This is why things have felt strange lately. This is why there has been an unusual stillness in some areas of your life. This is why certain relationships have felt different. This is why certain old desires don't pull you the way they used to. This is why something in you has begun to sense movement, even when nothing visible has confirmed it yet. Your spirit is already in the new season. Your mind is still writing letters addressed to the old one. And today, heaven is asking you to stop writing those letters, to stop organizing your faith around a future that has already arrived in the invisible, to stop praying as if you are outside the breakthrough and start walking as if you are inside it, because you are. Not metaphorically, not as a hope or an affirmation, as a spiritual reality that the natural world is now in the process of catching up to. The evidence is catching up to what heaven already decided. Let me say that again. The evidence, the visible proof, the open doors, the financial movement, the relational restoration, the opportunities, is catching up to what heaven already decided. The decision was made. The verdict was issued. The blessing was released. And now the physical world, which always moves slower than the spiritual, is beginning to align with what was already true in the courts of heaven. You are not waiting for God to move. God already moved. You are watching the physical world arrange itself to match what is already done. I want you to comment right now. Write these words. I am not waiting outside the door. Not because it unlocks something, not as a ritual or a formula, but because declaration is how chosen ones remind themselves of what is already true. When you write those words, you are not convincing God of something. You are agreeing with what God already said about you. You are choosing to speak from faith instead of from fear. You are refusing to let the delay define your identity any longer. Write it. I am not waiting outside the door. Now I want to speak to you about something that nobody talks about enough. The invisible wounds. The ones that don't show up on any medical chart. The ones that were inflicted not by strangers, but by people you trusted. By environments that should have been safe. By years of not having someone in your corner who truly understood the weight of being you. God saw it. He saw the years you had no one to explain life to you. He saw you figuring things out alone, that other people had parents and mentors and communities helping them navigate. He saw you learning skills through failure that others were taught gently before they ever had to fail. He saw you building strength not because someone believed in you enough to invest in your growth, but because survival demanded it. He saw you trying to be strong with no backup. He saw the nights you cried and had no one to call. He saw the decisions you made under pressure, with incomplete information, and a heart that was already exhausted. He saw the moments you chose to trust people who later proved they didn't deserve it. He saw what that cost you. He saw you absorb the loss and keep moving because there was no other option, and he is not indifferent to any of it. I need you to hear this. God is not a distant observer who watched your suffering from a comfortable distance and is now offering you a reward as compensation. He was present in every painful moment. He was with you in the silence. He was carrying things for you that you didn't even know needed to be carried. And what he is doing now is not simply rewarding your endurance. He is restoring everything, not just what you lost, everything. The confidence that was taken from you in seasons of rejection, the joy that was slowly drained by years of pressure, the ability to trust that was wounded by disappointment, the sense of your own value that was chipped away by environments and people who didn't recognize who you were, the dreams that felt too dangerous to keep holding because hope had already cost you so much. He is restoring your ability to want again. He is restoring your ability to receive without guilt, to believe without performance, to move forward without the weight of every past failure holding you back. This is not a small work. This is not a surface-level blessing. This is God rebuilding from the foundation up, and it is happening now in this season, in this chapter of your story. Your spirit already knows this. That is why you are still here watching this. That is why something in you recognized these words before I even finished saying them. Your spirit is awake to what God is doing. Your mind just needs permission to agree. Let me make the breakthrough tangible for you, because I know that some of you have been hearing words like this for a long time, and the spiritual language is beautiful, but you need to know what this actually looks like in real life. What are the signs that the breakthrough is already here? Watch for peace that arrives before the situation changes, not the peace that comes after the problem is solved, the peace that walks in before the answer shows up, the peace that doesn't make sense given your circumstances, the peace that settles in your chest and makes you wonder why you suddenly feel calm when nothing has changed on the outside yet. That is not denial. That is the peace of God confirming that the outcome is already secured. Watch for unexpected contact, a message you weren't expecting, a call from someone you had given up on hearing from, a conversation that opens something you thought was permanently closed, something that arrives in a way that feels too specific, too timed, too aligned to be coincidence. Watch for closed opportunities reopening, things you applied for and never heard back from, connections that went silent suddenly becoming active again, doors you stopped knocking on because you assumed they were shut permanently beginning to move. Watch for a financial loosening, not necessarily a dramatic windfall, though that is not outside of God's ability, but a loosening, something releasing, a bill resolving in an unexpected way, an opportunity for income appearing where there was none before, a burden lifting, a pressure that was constant beginning to ease. Watch for people treating you differently, for the shift in how others see you when you walk into a room, for recognition from places that previously overlooked you, for relationships beginning to align with the season you are stepping into rather than the season you are leaving. Watch for a new idea, a sudden moment of clarity where something you have been confused about becomes simple, a direction that presents itself fully formed, a creative impulse, a business thought, an unexpected solution, something that arrives not from your own striving, but as if it was placed directly into your mind. Watch for a heaviness leaving your chest, a weight you have carried so long you forgot it was there suddenly becoming lighter, a grief releasing, an anxiety losing its grip, a fear that had a permanent residence in your body quietly packing its things and leaving. Watch for a desire to begin again, to clean your space, to organize what has been chaotic, to create what you have been postponing, to reach out to someone, to pray with new energy, to work with new motivation, to forgive someone, not for their sake but because you are ready to be free, to start something that fear has been blocking. These are not random emotions, these are signs. These are the fingerprints of a breakthrough that has already landed and is now making itself visible in the details of your daily life. Your breakthrough is here. The evidence is catching up. Say it with me right now, not in your head. Out loud if you can. Let the words leave your mouth and enter the atmosphere around you, because declaration is not performance, it is agreement. And today, you are agreeing with what heaven already announced over your life. Say it. My breakthrough is here. Not my breakthrough is coming. Not my breakthrough is scheduled. Not my breakthrough is possible if I do everything right and never doubt and never have a bad day and never struggle again. My breakthrough is here. Present tense, active tense, already decided in heaven and now manifesting on earth tense. My breakthrough is here. Say it again, because the first time you said it, part of you flinched. Part of you wanted to believe it but couldn't quite let the weight of it land. Part of you said the words, while another part of you whispered, "But what if it's not true? What if this is just another word that sounds good today and means nothing by Thursday?" I hear that voice. I know that voice. And I need you to understand something about it. That voice is not discernment. That voice is not wisdom. That voice is not God protecting you from false hope. That voice is memory. It is the accumulated weight of every disappointment speaking into your present moment. It is your past trying to write your future. It is the scar tissue of old wounds pressing against new promises and saying, "We have been here before, we have believed before, we have declared before, and we were still left waiting." And I am not going to dismiss that pain. I am not going to tell you that your past disappointments don't matter, or that your emotional history is irrelevant. What you survived was real. What you lost was real. What hurt you was real. But hear me carefully. That voice is not prophecy. That voice is memory. And memory does not get to govern your future. Memory is a record of where you have been. It is not a map of where you are going. And the God who is speaking over your life right now is not consulting your past to determine your future. He decided your future before your past even began. Before the disappointments, before the failures, before the people who left, before the doors that closed, before the seasons that felt like abandonment. He already saw the end from the beginning, and he already declared it good. Your future was never contingent on your perfect history. It was always contingent on his perfect faithfulness. Do not miss this part. Fear is going to try one more time. It always does when you get close to stepping fully into what God has for you. It will come dressed in reasonable clothing. It will use logical-sounding arguments. It will say things like, "Be realistic. Don't get your hopes up again. You know how these things go. You've prayed this hard before and nothing changed." And when that voice comes, not if, when, I need you to answer it with something that is more powerful than argument. Answer it with identity. Because here is what fear does not want you to know about yourself. You are not who you were when you first started waiting. Think about that for a moment. Think about the version of you that first entered this season of waiting, of pressure, of silence, of uncertainty. That version of you was real and valid and worthy of love. But that version of you was also incomplete, not broken beyond repair, not worthless, but unfinished, unrefined, still carrying weight that wasn't yours, still operating from wounds that hadn't yet been identified, still believing lies about yourself that you had absorbed from environments that couldn't see your value. And the waiting season, the one that felt like punishment, was actually the most intensive transformation process of your life. You came in one person. You are coming out someone else entirely. You came in begging for validation from people who were never qualified to assign your worth. You are coming out understanding that your worth was never theirs to give. You came in chasing opportunities with a desperation that made you vulnerable to the wrong doors. You are coming out with a discernment that can tell the difference between a God door and a trap dressed like an opportunity. You came in afraid of being forgotten. You are coming out knowing that you were always seen. You are not trying to become chosen. You are remembering that you already were. Say that to yourself. Right now. Not as an affirmation you repeat until you believe it. Say it as a remembering, as a recognition. As someone who has been away from home for a long time, finally seeing familiar landmarks and realizing, I know this place. This is where I belong. You are not forcing the door. You are walking through it. You are not performing for heaven's approval. You are moving in alignment with the decision heaven already made about you. You are not begging God to notice you. You are agreeing with what God already said. This is the identity shift that the enemy has been working overtime to prevent. Because he knows that the moment you stop operating from a place of scarcity and start operating from a place of inheritance, everything changes. The moment you stop living like someone who is hoping to be chosen and start living like someone who has already been chosen, the atmosphere around your life begins to shift in ways that cannot be explained naturally. He has been keeping you in the waiting room mentally because he knows that chosen ones who know who they are cannot be stopped. But today, that strategy loses its power. Today, you remember, this is not the moment to stay quiet. If this word has been speaking directly to something inside you, if you have felt seen, if something has shifted, if a weight has lifted even slightly, I want you to like this video right now, not for the numbers. Because this message needs to reach the chosen one who is one more disappointment away from giving up, who is scrolling right now in a moment of desperation, looking for a sign that God hasn't forgotten them. Your like is what puts this word in front of that person. And if you want to keep receiving words that strengthen your faith, that help you stay aligned with what God is building in you, subscribe to this channel, because this is a space for chosen ones who are serious about walking into what heaven has declared over their lives. Like and subscribe, and let's keep going because the most important part is still ahead. Now I want to speak to you about restoration. Not the surface-level version of it, not the version that is just a list of material things that were taken from you that God is now going to return. I'm talking about deep restoration, the kind that works from the inside out, the kind that changes not just your circumstances, but your capacity to live fully in your circumstances. God is restoring your peace, not just the temporary kind that comes when a problem resolves and you can breathe again for a few days before the next thing arrives. The deep peace. The peace that is not produced by favorable conditions. The peace that surpasses understanding, which means it surpasses the ability of your mind to explain or justify it based on what is visible. The peace that says, I don't have all the answers yet, and I am still okay. The peace that allows you to sleep before the breakthrough is fully manifested in the natural. The peace that lets you laugh again. The peace that makes room for joy before the evidence arrives. He is restoring your trust, not your naive trust. Not the trust that hands everything to anyone who seems sincere, but your capacity to trust wisely, your ability to open again without the armor that pain required you to wear, your willingness to receive from people who are genuinely sent into your life, to recognize divine connections when they arrive, to not sabotage good things because you have been wounded by things that looked good before. He is restoring your self-worth, the true version of it. Not confidence that depends on achievement, not value that fluctuates based on how people treat you, not worth that has to be earned through productivity or performance or perfection. The deep knowing that you are valuable because of who made you, not because of what you have done or what you have managed to accumulate or how impressive your story looks from the outside. He is restoring your ability to dream. Because something happens to chosen ones in long seasons of pressure. The dreaming muscle atrophies. You stop allowing yourself to picture the future with hope because hope became dangerous. Every time you let yourself imagine what life could look like, reality interrupted the picture and the contrast became too painful. So slowly, quietly, without even deciding to, you stopped dreaming. You started surviving. You started managing expectations. You started building walls around the vulnerable, believing parts of yourself to protect them from further damage. God is calling those walls down. Not violently, not in a way that leaves you exposed and unprotected, but gently, permanently, with the precision of a surgeon who knows exactly what needs to be removed and what needs to remain. He is creating space inside you for desire again, for imagination, for the audacity to picture a life that matches the size of your calling instead of the size of your history. He is restoring your voice, the voice that speaks up instead of shrinking, the voice that says no when no is the right answer, the voice that tells the truth about what you need instead of performing gratitude for whatever scraps of support came your way, the voice that prays with authority instead of timidity, the voice that declares instead of begging. The voice of someone who knows they have a place at the table, not as a guest who might be asked to leave, but as someone who belongs there by design. This is what restoration looks like for a chosen one, not just the circumstances improving, the person transforming, the capacity expanding, the interior life becoming spacious and safe and alive again, and it is happening. Right now, in this season, in this chapter, not someday, now. Let me tell you what the old season no longer has access to. The old season, the one of waiting, of pressure, of survival, of silence, no longer has legal access to your identity. It can whisper. It can send memories. It can try to pull you back through familiar pain patterns and old emotional triggers. But it cannot govern you. It cannot define you. It cannot determine what happens next in your story. The old season lost its jurisdiction over your life. That means the version of you that accepted crumbs because abundance felt impossible is no longer the operating version. That means the pattern of chasing what was never meant for you because you were afraid that what was meant for you might not actually show up. That pattern has lost its power. That means the relationship with lack, the way you have been comfortable with just enough, just barely, just surviving, That relationship is being broken at a root level. You are not a survival mode person anymore. That was a season. That was a function. That was what was required for a chapter of your life that is now closed. You survived the survival season, and now you are stepping into something that requires a completely different posture. Not striving, not straining, not performing your way into blessing. Walking, receiving, moving with the confidence of someone who knows that what God has decided, no force in heaven or earth or the space in between can revoke. The waiting room is empty. There is no one left sitting in it, because the ones who were chosen for this moment, you, have already been called through. The waiting is not paused. The waiting is over. The invitation has already been extended. The door has already been opened. And the only thing left is for you to walk through without looking back. Your spirit knows this is true. You felt it somewhere in the last few minutes. You felt something ease, something lift, something shift in a way that is hard to name but impossible to ignore. That was not emotion manufactured by music or language. That was your spirit recognizing truth. That was the part of you that has been awake to God's movement all along, finally hearing something that matched what it already knew. Trust that knowing. Do not leave this video without doing this one thing. Write it in the comments right now. My breakthrough is here. I receive it now. Not I hope so. Not Lord, please let it be true. Not I'm trying to believe it. My breakthrough is here. I receive it now, because reception is an act of will. Receiving is not passive. Receiving is the active choice to open your hands when the gift arrives, instead of keeping them closed because you have been disappointed before. Receiving is the decision to say yes to what God has released, even before your eyes can fully confirm it. Receiving is the posture of faith, not the feeling of certainty, but the choice to act as if what God said is already true. Write it, say it, let it leave your body and enter the atmosphere of your life. My breakthrough is here. I receive it now. Now I want to send you out with something. Share this video with one person today. Just one. You know who it is. You already thought of them while you were watching this. The person who has been quiet lately. The one who smiles but you know they are carrying something heavy. The one who keeps showing up for everyone else and has no idea that anyone is holding space for them. The one who prays in private and doubts in private and fights in private and has never had someone look at them and say, God hasn't forgotten you. Your season is changing. Your breakthrough is here. Send this to that person. Not with a long explanation, just send it. Let heaven do the rest, and before you go, receive this blessing. Over your night tonight, may it be peaceful. May your mind be quiet. May the anxiety that has been your unwanted companion loosen its grip while you sleep. May you rest like someone whose outcome is already secured, because it is. Over your finances, may the pressure ease. May unexpected provision find you. May the blockages that have been holding things in place begin to release. May resourcefulness, opportunity, and open doors find you faster than fear told you they would. Over your home, may peace live there. May what has been chaotic begin to find order. May what has been cold begin to warm. May what has been broken begin to heal. Over your family, may restoration move quietly through every relationship that matters. May walls come down. May the right words be spoken. May forgiveness find its way into places where offense has been living. May love return where love retreated. Over your purpose, may clarity come. May the next step become visible. May the gifts inside you find expression. May the world begin to make room for exactly what you were made to bring. And over your mind, may you know deeply and permanently that you are not forgotten. You were never forgotten. You were chosen before the foundation of the world, prepared in hiddenness, and released into purpose in this exact season of your life. The breakthrough is not coming. It is here. You are not standing outside the door. You are walking through it. And nothing, not fear, not memory, not the weight of the past, not the silence of what hasn't yet manifested visibly, nothing can take back what heaven has already decided about you. Go, walk, receive, live like it's already done, because it is. And before you go, that video appearing on your screen right now? Watch it. It was placed there for a reason. Your next word is already waiting for you.